Hi everyone, it's Stana here. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. Today's practice is really nice and low to the ground. It's for those times where you just need a little bit of extra TLC, some tender loving care, and I suggest that you pop on your favourite tunes, maybe something super chilled in the background. There'll be a suggested playlist below where you can just take a deep breath in and let it go, and truly let it go. So you don't need anything fancy for this practice. Get into something comfy and we'll get started down in child's pose. So you can have the knees together or a little bit apart with the big toes touching. A little bit wider than the hips is nice so that you can allow room for the belly and the torso. So keep the pelvis nice and grounded down towards your heels and begin to walk the arms out, lengthening through the torso, letting your forehead come towards the floor. And just think about maybe walking the hands back a little so you can press your pelvis down. Like imagine I had two hands on the back of your pelvis, on your lower back, and I was gently just creating a little bit of direction downwards. So there's that heaviness sensation. And we'll start to settle in. So you can let your arms soften here, unless you're really craving a nice stretch forward. Start to breathe in and fill up your upper back, your whole back from the bottom to the top. And as you exhale, let everything melt down towards the ground. Keep it going, breathe in, fill up your back. And soften. Maybe close your eyes. Dive in for 2 more breaths here. And on this final exhale, letting yourself get really heavy, feeling the tops of your feet, your shin bones, your forehead, your hands, your arms. Imagine them creating an imprint into the mat. Letting go a little more. Start to take stock. How are you really feeling right now? And be honest with yourself. How are you really feeling? Peel away the bullshit, peel away the layers of, I'm doing fine. Truly, how do you feel? Good, and just keep that in the back of your mind. Begin to lift up onto the fingertips so you can walk your hands off the right side of your mat and let your left sitting bone get nice and heavy so you get this beautiful stretch along the whole left side of the body. You can stay here or you can even let your right arm sort of make a little vogue, a vogue arm, the fingertips towards the elbow, and let your forehead rest there. So we're in this time, my friend Lara and I were talking the other day about this time we're currently in the coronavirus pandemic, if you're not watching this in real time, but how it's a very masculine time. There's lots of doing, you know, we've got this time, this extra time on our hands, and it's a lot of pressure out there to do more. And there's the hustle of how many side businesses can I get started, how many languages can I learn, and I'll create banana bread in every baking recipe I've ever read in my life. And I'm here to call bullshit on it. You know, you don't need to buy into that idea that productivity and doing more creates more success. So if you've been feeling that way as well, use this next exhale to actually let go and exhale. Exhale as you let the breath out. Maybe a little sigh. It's okay to not do everything. Gently begin to walk the hands through center and off the left side this time. Grounding down the right sit bone towards the right heel. And remembering your options, you can take the left hand, this time bending at the elbow, bringing fingertips towards the elbow to rest the head. Or just let both arms reach long. Wherever you land, dive in, dive deep. As you reflect on how you're doing, have you been doing more because you feel obligated to? Or have you really allowed yourself the rest that you deserve? I know many of us have never been in this situation before, and it's all new territory, and we're all learning. And we learn through the hurdles that we go through. You know, I've been feeling really burnt out. I'm doing a lot at the beginning. Too hard, too fast, too much. And now that I've allowed myself to rest, I feel a little bit more energized. And like I'm creating on my own terms. I don't know if that's something that you resonate with. Enjoy one more breath here. Let it go. Good, walk the hands back to the center. Then walk your hands towards yourself, towards your knees, your pelvis. And then bring the knees a little closer together if they've been wide apart, or a little further apart, about hip distance apart. You're going to come forward onto all fours, and nice and easy we're going to get the spine moving. So start by swaying the hips a little side to side. Notice how your pelvis feels, your hips feel after being in that either close together or wide apart shape. Alright, now soft and easy. TLC. Use an inhale to lower your belly. Glide your heart forward and take your gaze with you. And then as you exhale, maybe a little rock back starting from the tailbone. Curl everything under. Navel hugs in, chin towards your chest. And we keep it going. So an inhale opens the front gates. And the exhale opens the back. Shoulder blades spread wide. So you can begin to veer off the tracks, maybe a little sway if that feels good. On the inhale, maybe a little sending back of the pelvis before you curl under. What feels good? How can you tend to yourself a little more right here, right now? Linger in the spots where you'd like to linger. Use your breath. We'll do one more. Good, then come back in the middle. We're going to come into puppy. So for this one, have the knees right under the hip points and keep them there this whole time. So keep your pelvis where it is. But just begin to walk the arms forward and begin to melt your heart down. So you can keep your gaze straight down to the mat and you're sort of rocking your pelvis up to the sky. like you're shining your sit bones up, like two little lights on the car, headlights. Spiral your elbow creases, so the creases on the inside of your elbows, spiral them in and up. And then begin to slowly melt the heart down. Maybe the forehead kisses the mat. Good. Keep the biceps spiraling up. A full surrender. Getting a nice big opening through the front body. And letting your heart melt down. We'll do 2 more breaths here. Letting yourself sink in a little deeper with each breath out. Very good. Now to come out, be really mindful. Maybe shift forward onto the forearms. Walk the hands, the elbows in. Come back up onto the hands. Oh yeah, tuck the toes. And then just walk the hands a little bit further forward. So you can peel your pelvis, send it back and then up to the sky. Oh, now I'm flashing everyone. Alright, so begin to walk the feet out. Sway the hips one way and then the other. Keep all of your joints nice and spacious. Good, feel free to have a nice generous bend in the knees. Now from here, use a little inhale to slide the right leg up behind you. Nothing fancy. Bend your right knee, shift forward. You're just going to step the right foot up to the front and lower the back knee. Good. Adjust your wardrobe. Alright, stay nice and low. If this is not really feeling that good today, feel free to bring some blocks or drink bottles or something to lift yourself up, or even rise up all the way. It's going to feel really nice. I'm going to take my hands on the inside of my right foot, and just walk the right foot out a little bit more. It feels like it's going to be amazing. If you want to be with the right hand on the outside, go there. I feel like a little bit more space. So check in here. Think nice long spine. Breathe. Move if that feels good. Give yourself permission to listen to your intuition. What does it want you to do right now? Is it craving stillness? Are you craving movement? What happens if you trust? Alright, take another breath in and use your exhale to begin to pull the hips back so that your pelvis is right over your back knee. You begin to straighten the front leg a little. So flex your right toes and have a soft bend in your right knee. Actually just going to walk my right foot in a little bit more because it's going to feel juicy. Oh yeah, open up the back of the legs. Maybe chin to chest. Little movement or not. Really, it's just all about easy going. It's not too hard. It's just tending to yourself. Opening up. Alright, on your next breath in, roll forward. Back to your lunge. Place the left hand down, maybe out a little wider. Give yourself space. And then use an inhale to open the right arm up. Soft and easy. Yeah, feel free to lift the hips a little. Maybe open out. And think a long spine. So notice where your the base of your spine is. Travel up and then out through the crown of your head. Good. Enjoy one more breath here. And then exhale, float the right hand down. And we're going to just step the right foot back. Knees are both on the floor. Tap the toes and lift your pelvis up and back. Downward dog. Pedal the feet again. Other side, so shift your weight to the right foot and slide the left leg up. Bend your left knee and step it forward. Put it in between the hands or a little further out. Your choice. Yeah, so hands can be down. Also, give yourself the permission if it feels better to be up a little higher. Go for it. Trust what's calling you. Movement or stillness, you choose. So in times of tending to ourselves, we can reflect on it, what can be helpful to reflect on where you're feeling like you're neglecting a little. There might be a spot that you haven't paid as much attention to as others, an area. What is it? What is it that's speaking to you as you pull the left hip back, half splits? Keep that in the front of your mind as you flex the left toes, soft bend in the knee. What area is calling for a little bit more attention? What is it? Is it a task? Is it sleep, nutrition, friendship, socialization, stillness, movement, music, art, reading, whatever it is. Just notice. Yeah, you don't need to change, you're just noticing. Right, roll forward through the front foot. Place the right hand just a little further out, so give yourself space, and then use an inhale to start by lifting the hips, lift the pelvic floor, and open up the left wing. Spiral your right ribs under and up. Long spine. One more breath. Float the left hand down. And from here we're going to shift to all fours, so step the left leg back, walk the knees forward and swing them around to come sit on your bum. So we're going to take the right leg out, the left leg comes in. And you want to feel like you've got both sitting bones grounded evenly. So if that's not the case, if you're a little lopsided, whichever way it might be, just sit up on a blanket. You can roll your mat up or a pillow. It's perfect. So go ahead and flex your right toes, and feel free to have a soft bend in the right knee. I'm going to swim the right arm over and catch maybe the outside of the left knee or the left thigh. Turn your left palm up. You're going to reach the left arm up, breathe in, and then over. So we've got this pulling, this wrapping around of the right arm, creating a little resistance, a little stopper to create this beautiful opening on the left side body. If it gets too much, you can release it down. Or in fact, it actually feels quite nice to get a little more opening. Maybe look up towards your top hand or keep the gaze down. Two more breaths. One more. As you exhale, softly bend the left arm, and we're going to switch it over. So right leg in, left leg out. Sit up tall, fine. This time the left hand wrapping around, just to start off with maybe. And as you inhale, think up and over with the right arm. Ooh. So you'll notice where you feel the tension more, the sensation's more obvious. That'll give you an insight as to where you might be holding in the body. So at any time you can release the left arm. And see if you can breathe into the sensation. Breathe into the opening. One more breath. As you exhale, softly bend your right arm. Come on up. This time we bring the soles of both feet together. And maybe a little bit more forward than we normally would. So a little bit further away from the pelvis, and begin to give your feet a little massage. Yeah, you can really, some of you may have been walking more, or you might be less on your feet. So sometimes, especially if you go like into town and you're working, you might not be walking as much. So it can be really nice just to give your feet a little bit of extra TLC. Stay here as long as you like, getting the fronts, the ankles. And when you're ready, begin to send your pelvis back, your heart forward, and begin to round your spine like you're folding over a big blanket or a big ball of pillows. And just let yourself settle in. Let your shoulders round. The muscles of your legs soften. On the breath in, your belly inflates. And on the breath out, your back body softens forward. Slowly begin to walk the hands up, re-stacking the spine. Take the hands to the outer thighs, close the legs. And from here we're going to come to lay down on our backs. So lay down, get yourself comfy. This is where we'll end. So if there's any little movements, maybe a little swing of the legs side to side, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I invite you to take the legs wider than your hips, so maybe as wide as the yoga mat, or a little wider than your hips. So just enough so that you can let the knees fall in together and rest on one another. And bring your hands to maybe your lower belly, or one to your hand, one in your belly, one in your heart. Somewhere where you can let your shoulders soften down. The skin on your face smooth out. And there's this wonderful tool that the psychologist that I see, he shared with me. And it's about in times of when we're feeling a little more reactive, or like the fuse is short, or perhaps when things are a little too much. And it goes like this. Notice first of all where you feel the holding. It might be the gripping of fists, it might be the scrunching of your face, the tenseness in your belly or your chest, the tightness. Wherever you feel it, can you soften all the muscles around it? Can you let them melt?
You imagine an ice cube on that area, and it's slowly melting, like the tension's trickling down and into the mat, into the earth beneath you. Once you feel like the muscles are a little more watery, a little bit more fluid, the next step is to soothe. Use your breath to soothe you. So any way you wish, nothing fancy. Listen to your inhale as you breathe a full breath in and a long breath out. Listen to the sound. Breathe in. Maybe sigh it out if that feels good. Keep it going. Make the sound of your breath the most audible thing you can hear. And use each exhale as an opportunity to let go. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Let yourself detach. Take 3 more breaths. Dive into the breath. After your last breath out, the final step is to allow. And in this, you just let go of needing to control or do anything. And you come into being. It's not so, you don't need to try so hard here. There's nothing to do. You're simply just letting yourself rest. And allowing things to come and go, like clouds in the sky or people walking past, thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories. Take a step back and observe them all, allow them to come, and if they arise, allow them to go on their own terms. Slowly begin to notice your body laying on the floor. And And begin to walk the feet a little closer together so the knees can drift apart a little. Leave both of your knees fall to one side, any side, come into a little fetal position, resting your head on your hands or your arms. And just take a couple of breaths here in this shape of safety. Before you press into your hands and come up to a comfortable seat to finish. Leave your hands, actually let's give them a little rub together. Okay, a little bit of heat. And go for 3, 2, and on the 1, place your hands over your heart. Feel free to close your eyes, feel the warmth, the sensation underneath your hands. And repeat after me. I am doing enough. I have done enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Remember that when you feel like you're buying into the hustle and learning 12 languages and doing all the things that you don't need to buy into it. You are enough as you are. Thank you so very much for sharing your time, your energy with me and each other. It truly means the world. From my heart to yours. Namaste.